Hi everybody, welcome to Creative Electron. My name is Chaz, and I'm going to be explaining to you some of the cool features of our brand new custom pipe inspection system. Alright, so the system behind me is specifically designed to be pretty versatile. It inspects pipes just like this one, ranging in size all the way down from 6 inches all the way up to 13 feet, with outside diameters from 1/2 inch all the way up to 1 inch. And that's specifically modifiable based on the grippers inside the system. So loading a sample is as simple as putting it on the conveyor belt and sliding it in. Alright, so the system also has a front door that's pretty big in size that allows users to be able to hand feed in short pipes if they won't fit through the side pipes of the system. So you can see here the pneumatic pressure regulator for controlling the opening and closing of the grippers. So the system is also equipped with 3 e-stops, 2 on either end of the conveyors, as well as 1 on the user workstation. So this is the operator workstation. This is where the operator will interface with the system through the TruView customized software, as well as using the joystick for manual pipe actuation.
All right, so this is the TruView Integra software user interface. We will start off by selecting a user role. As you can see, we have a variety of different options here, spanning from admin to engineer to operator, each of which is password controlled. So we just logged into the admin. You have a series of different selections, tools, and settings, including recipes here. You can then log out or exit to the desktop from the screen as well. If we go ahead and log out, we can go back to select a user and log in as an operator using a different password. You can see here you have the same menu, but each of the menus will be slightly different based off of user permissions. So we're going to log back in as an admin because this will give us all of the options. If we open up settings, you can see we have preferences, we have user settings, user permissions, and an about section. So if we go ahead and open up the preference section, you see we have the ability to control the file path for some of the different features in the software. So the first one is recipe folder path, so we can select where we're looking for the recipes in the folder structure. We can also control where we pull, a customer logo from, and we also have the user log path. So this is where all the logs will be saved. And then we have a check disk space selection box there. All right, moving on to user settings. You can see we have a variety of different account types here. We have admin, engineering, and operator. If you click on the little key there, you have the ability to change passwords. You can also delete accounts using the little trash button in the upper left corner. And if you press the information button, you can see different pieces of information about the account. You can also create new users. So here we're creating a test account with username test with a password. And you can see down on the bottom under role, you have operator, engineer, and administrator, so you can select which type of role you're creating. You can also choose the specific logo you want for the user. Click create user, close, and you can see there's the account that was just created. You can also go into user permissions. This is where you can change what each of the roles can do. Right here we have a automated password reset prompt, so you can set how long that'll be. But if you go to like engineer, you can see these are all the different tools that the engineer role will have access to. Things like warm-up screen, changing passwords, creating recipes, editing users, deleting users, things of this nature. So right now, engineer has access to all of these things. You can see if we go into operator, the operator has far fewer of these features allowed for that account. You can then go to the about section and see what TruView Integra version we have here. And then Now moving on to tools, and the first one is the warm-up source button. So when you click this, it automatically brings you to the source warm-up screen. You can see you have the voltage, the amperage, and the time remaining. Everything is automatically triggered after pushing the power button. As you can see, there's indicators for showing that the source needs to be warmed up, both on the bottom bar using an icon and on the warm-up screen itself, shown in green. Typically, the source will need to be warmed up every single morning if it hasn't been used for more than 8 hours. So usually that's about a 15-minute warm-up process. Going back now, we'll go into the manual controls. So you can see here we have a variety of different controls. These are currently specific to the pipe inspection system. However, these can be changed and manipulated and modified to be specific for any system that we make. Then we'll go over and look at the live view. So you can see here on the left, we have our source controls. You can see we can modify the voltage and the amperage. We also have control over the focal size. So we have small, medium, large. We have the power button for turning on and off the source. You can see if we go ahead and push that button, you can see we have an IQI in the field of view. You can see if you hold the mouse close to the bottom of the UI, you can change the histogram settings. So this can be dialed in to filter out only the specific shades that you're interested in seeing. So here we're just playing around with the different settings, trying to get the ideal visual image. You can see if you click on this manual button here, this gives you access to the manual controls for controlling the mechanism. So this is how you can manipulate the sample while looking at a live view image. Over on the right side, you have image controls. So this is where you can modify the exposure or the averaging of the image. You also have a variety of different standard controls through our Integra software. So this is different color map settings. This might help bring out certain visual aspects of the image that you would like to see. We have different crosshair options. So you can break up the image in a different grid if you'd like. You can record a video. You can invert the colors if you'd like, and then you have saving the image. Next, we're going to go ahead and go into the log table screen. So this log table is pretty useful. It tracks and documents all of the different actions that the different users are doing on the system, and kind of sets it out here in this nice little table. So this is really valuable for being able to backtrack and see what kind of changes were made to the system or to any of the settings as different users are running through inspections or just using the system in general. It also has some filtering, so you can filter by date, and you can also filter by different types of actions. You can also modify the different columns depending on what columns and what information you care most about seeing. You also have the option to click this button at the bottom to export this table to Excel for further data processing. There's also a button here for recipe settings. These are general recipe settings that apply to all of the different recipes. So these are things like CSV paths. So this is any data that is collected during the run of the recipe. This is where it'll be saved. We also have service CSV path. You're able to control where those files go as well. And then Integra JSON path. You have control over that as well. All right, moving over into the recipe screen, you can see we have 3 different types of recipes: long pipes, medium pipes, and manual. Manual is for anything 3 feet or shorter, so the long pipes are between 8 feet and 13 feet. Medium pipes are 3 feet to 7 feet, and like I said, manual is anything shorter than 3 feet. So looking at the long pipe category, you can see we have pipes in 1 foot increments between 8 and 13 feet. If you click on the I button, you can see different pieces of information about that recipe. You can also hide and unhide the recipe from different user groups like operators or engineers. You can tell if the recipe has been signed or unsigned. This is basically telling you whether or not it's been changed or not. So that's useful information. And then each recipe has its own settings. So you can see here, you can modify the settings for the voltage, the amperage, the detector exposure, histogram settings, export paths for different images and pieces of data. image averaging, whether or not you want to output a stitched image, annotation filter, color map settings, and also dimension thresholds. So going into the 13-foot pipe recipe, you can see the software will prompt you for a lot number and a part number. So you'll enter that in and press submit. You'll go ahead and hit start. Mechanically, you'll see that the pipe gets fed into the system and it'll start taking images once the pipe reaches the presence sensor at the center of the detector. So you can see here the system is outputting a few pieces of key information, such as the OD and the ID of the pipe, both in pixels and in thousandths of an inch. So this is converted from pixels to thousandths. You can see these lines here are depicting where on the pipe the VP job is actually finding the inner and the outer diameter of that pipe. So you can see the system is currently, it's taking an image and then replacing the previous image. So that's why you see the image disappear there. So it shows current image 9 of 158, and then it'll show next image. So it'll remove the last image and put the new image there. We also have an open image button that will allow you to see the images populate in the folder structure as they become available. So exiting out of the recipe and heading back in, I'm going to turn off the color map just to show you guys what a non-color mapped series of images looks like. So you can see we're running through this one real quick. It's populating all the 0-degree positions. And when the system reaches the end of the pipe will rotate 90 degrees, and then you'll start seeing images populate down below in the 90-degree position area.
All right, so the system is configured such that we have the source down here on the bottom and the detector hard mounted up here on the top. The source is mounted to a linear actuator that's mounted vertically so that the source can move up and down to change the zoom or the magnification of the pipe that's being imaged. Then we also have 2 horizontal linear actuators here that allow for horizontal actuation of the pipe. Attached to the actuators, we have rotary tables on either side. This is for pipe rotation. We have plus and minus 90 degrees on that. And then attached to the rotary tables, we have a set of grippers that are what actually make contact with the pipe to move it through the system. The system is also equipped with a presence sensor right here that allows for repeatable placement of the pipe during inspection. So the grippers that you see inside the system right now, these are 3D printed prototypes. These are really, really easy to swap in and out, and what makes this so valuable is it's really great for us to be able to test a bunch of different designs very quickly and dial in directly on the need of the customer depending on their sample size and how delicate their samples might be. All right, that concludes our demonstration of the custom pipe inspection system here at Creative Electron. Thanks for joining. See you next time.